All right, here we are. Sports Spit, Betting Insight today. Pauly and Teddy, SBR Picks. Google Hangout every Thursday, 8 o'clock Pacific. Fire away with your questions. We love being part of these chats. And only 2 Friday NBA cards to go over in the regular season. Where does the time go, Teddy? How about those Bulls, Teddy? 19 in a row. Oh, unbelievable.
How about those Cavs?
We
should be sad. I mean, yeah, the 19-0 now Thursday night NBA on TNT thing is pretty impressive for Chicago. But This was supposed to be a step-up game for Cleveland. This is supposed to be hey, we're going to exercise our demons tonight. It didn't happen.
Well, after they got the break with the Celtics lose at home to Milwaukee, and now they give the 1 seed, control the 1 seed right back to Boston.
Nobody cares about the 1 seed. None of them care anything.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong about that. Come on. You're better than that.
No, I'm not wrong about that.
You're better than that. The Celtics don't care about the 1 seed. Cut it out. Golden State doesn't want it. Come on. The Celtics have to care about the 1. Cavs, I agree with you. But in any event, the Bulls have the Cavs number over the years, too. Especially
the Cavs number this year. For sure. So there was a ton of questions on Twitter this week, and unfortunately, I mean, you know what's the problem that I got is that there's like a million of them, and I got to scroll down for an hour to figure out what's going. Thank you. We've gotten a nice uptick in views. We're getting a nice uptick in chat views as well. We appreciate that, and it's really important as we get to the summer months. If you like this stuff, you got to turn people on. You have to, I ask you. We're not begging for viewers. Please, 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 please. No. But, people that are into baseball, betting on baseball, fantasy baseball, anything with baseball, they're going to be watching this show. Obviously, we're getting to the end of college basketball. We're going to do NBA throughout the course of the regular season, into the playoffs. Everyone likes to bet NBA playoffs. And we'll have guests on. We'll have, we're doing Masters. We'll have stuff on for the Derby, all that kind of thing. Plus, just like we did last year, we're going to do football previews. We're going to do NFL previews throughout the summer months. So it's really important to keep the view counts up and rising. So please, I ask you, if you know people that might be interested, send them a link. Let them know it's something that you watch. Thank you. There's my 2 cents.
All right.
Is that good, Pauly? YouWager. We got to mention YouWager. Not mention. They're been
real YouWager. Absolutely. You got it. You got it. All right.
Check them out.
Where's my here we go. All right, I'm sorry. Charlotte 221 tomorrow against the Nuggets. Big game there.
Shoot. My number for that game. I got Denver as the chalk in that game. I have Denver -1. I'll tell you right now, I'll be looking at the Nuggets. The Nuggets are better than the Hornets. And even though the Hornets won in Boston the other night, we also saw them get waxed on their home floor by double digits in a game where they're down 20 at halftime against Milwaukee the game before that. I don't trust their home court. And again, I think Denver's a better team. So I will absolutely be looking at the Nuggets tomorrow.
Pacers been playing horrible basketball. Now the 8th seed in the East. Toronto is 6 at home, 207.5.
And my number's higher. My number's 8.5 on this game. I'm not in a rush to lay with the Raptors necessarily, but I don't like anything coming out of Indiana. And you look at this Eastern Conference, man. I mean, there's a lot of playoff teams that are going to be underdogs in the first 2. I mean, I'm looking to fade right from the get-go, and Indiana's one of them. I don't like any comments coming out of that locker room. I don't like the way they're playing. They were doing the win one, lose one, win one, lose one thing for like weeks on end, and then now that's ended. I've got my concerns about the Indiana Pacers, and I know I don't want them tomorrow in Toronto. Sorry, they're supposed to be quick hitters. Let me go quicker.
Yeah, sorry. Back-to-back. See who plays. Cavs 10.5, 219 against Philly at home.
I'm not laying 10.5 with Cleveland. And the 76ers have been a very special team. They're near and dear to my heart this year. I don't know that anyone's made me more money than Philadelphia. So, but it's one of those games you're going to really have to pay attention. And that's the last 2 weeks of the NBA season are like this. You got to pay attention every day because you're going to see unexpected guys sitting. That doesn't necessarily make a team worse, but the Cavs without LeBron, obviously, you can't lay 10 with that team even against Philly.
Celtics 10.5, 217 against Orlando.
My number's 12. Orlando's played hard. I use the Magic as my poster child for a team. Like, you don't want teams like Orlando down the stretch. And then, the Magic have, they've really been very competitive. They just can't close out games. They're pretty inept in that regard. But My number's a little bit higher than the current number, and obviously Boston coming off the loss. It's not a game I plan on playing.
No line. Knicks and Miami. Rose questionable. I don't know. Who cares?
Who cares? I care. You know, that cashed a big ticket on Miami, laying 2 in New York last night. You know,
I'm saying the impact of Derrick Rose, though.
Oh yeah. Did you notice the way the markets moved in that game? Rose announced out. The money came on New York, not on Miami. I understand you think it's the other way. So anyhow, my number's 12 with Rose.
Remember when Detroit played Miami and Miami beat them with the tip in with Whiteside?
I do
remember that line?
Miami opened like 2 and bet up to 3.5, something like that.
Miami was okay, so they didn't get the money.
Miami was
okay.
I can tell you exactly what it was.
We've been talking about these great quotes from the Pistons. Remember when they lost on that buzzer beater to the Nets? It's been a horror show. The only time they got the money was that game the other night. They were laying 6.5 tonight against the Nets and 1 by 1. They're horrible right now, and they're just playing out the string. They're out of it. Milwaukee 9.5, 200.5 the total at home against the Pistons. Pistons on a back-to-back. But it's been ugly, Teddy. Look at what's happened on the road. Blown out at Chicago, lost by 30 to Orlando. Here they go on the road against you are the president of the fan club, a red-hot Milwaukee team.
Well,
trying to get the 5 seed.
This is another. I mean, my line's 12. You know,
really?
It's another game where it's very clear that my numbers aren't going to show Detroit. I cashed another ticket betting against the Pistons last night, or tonight, I should say, with Brooklyn. Plus the points. Although the Nets hit a 3 at the buzzer. You know, they were up. The Pistons were up 4.
Yeah.
But
that was a 2-point game with like 20 seconds.
I was confident throughout. Detroit, Detroit's not responding to adversity well. Milwaukee's good. They're playing good ball. But again, you know, my number's 12. I don't know if I get it. Would be Bucks or pass. Let's put it that way. I know I don't want Detroit.
Memphis 4.5, 192 against Dallas.
I can't get Memphis right. My number's a little bit higher. My number's 6. The Grizzlies have been remarkably streaky. I mean, really streaky. You know, they win 6, they lose 4. It's back and forth. They're supposed to be winning again now, and Dallas is a team that's very beatable. But the Mavs again, I keep thinking they're done, and they fight, like they did against New Orleans. Again, got the money again last night. So not a game I'm going to play.
Pelicans 10.5, 207.5 against the Kings.
Yeah, my number's 10. This will be fun. Cousins gets to play his old teammates in New Orleans, so assuming Cousins plays.
Yeah.
But Sacramento, once every 5 games they shoot the ball really well and do something fun. But by and large, you're going to make more money betting against them than on them. Are you shaking your hand like speed up? Are you shaking your hand because you got?
All right.
What's going on? Let's do a little dancing. Come on, Pauly. Let's have some fun, baby.
Washington, Utah, no line, and the Spurs doubleheader on ESPN. The Spurs are 1-208 at OKC.
Yeah, for the Wizards Utah game, questions about George Hill. He's got a groin injury, and of course Raul Neto.
Oh,
excuse me. There we go. I got boogers. I hope not. But anyhow, Neto, excuse me, is also a question mark for that contest. For San Antonio, Utah, Spurs won. My number for Utah, Washington, assuming Hill is healthy, is Utah 2.5. And Spurs Thunder, I've got this game as a pick-em. I don't have San Antonio as road chalk. I think, we had a big debate. I was doing a show on ESPN 1100 today here in Las Vegas, and we had a big debate as to whether it was the Warriors with a statement with the win at San Antonio or not so much. And my argument was it was just the Spurs not being good, not Golden State doing anything special. That backcourt problem for San Antonio is real. I won't lay with San Antonio in this game, even though the spot says you're supposed to. Again, my numbers pick them. Probably not a game I get involved with.
You got to wait till they announce the lineups in this one. Golden State 7.5, 231. Houston on a back-to-back. They're playing in Portland right now. We'll see how Kurt treats it the rest of the way now that they have a comfortable lead for the 1 seed.
Yeah, and now it already looks like a battle in Portland tonight, 32-31 with 10 seconds left in the first. So they're playing a frenetic pace already is what I'm saying.
Oh, sure. All right, where do you want to start?
You tell me. Let's start with some of the questions people are asking now. We got questions people are asking now, or should I go to some of the? Because again, the Twitter stuff is like I got to scroll back, and I apologize. But hey, if you got a question, the best way to do it, go into the chat and ask us right here, right now.
No,
So
this is garbage. This is garbage. I'm sorry. Thanks. This is from Thomorno. I don't know. I like Gonzaga against South Carolina. I'm sick of hearing Gonzaga was the best defense in the country. Conference was garbage. Okay. Come on. Arizona, Iowa State, Florida, St. Mary's 3 times. West Virginia, shut them down. Shut down Xavier. Come on. You're better than that. That's a bad question. That's a bad comment.
I disagree. You're allowed to say maybe the Zags' level of competition wasn't good enough to say they have the best defense in the country. And with a lot of the stats, it's good headlines. Oh, number 1 defense, number 1 team, number 1 this, number 1 that. The question is, does Gonzaga have a good defense, a really good defense, an exceptional defense, an elite defense? I'm going to put it up near the top. We've seen them play enough quality competition where it's not just good or very good. It's really good. Yeah. It's a top-notch defense, whether it's number 1 or not. You can make the argument that it isn't based on strength of schedule, but it's still a upper echelon defense.
With NBA players and the size, they're not a mid-major in terms of size. 6'9", 6'10", 7-footer, 7'1", all bigs down low. Terrific defense.
Here's a good question from Sports Have Balls. Yes, if gambling is legalized, will there be more juice on bets or less juice because of competition? And the answer to this is very clear. If we start talking about states trying to get tax revenue from sports betting, it's the end of -110. It is. They're talking about pari-mutuel style. They're talking about you're laying -115 or -120 on each side. In the state of Nevada, the tax on sports bets is 0.25%. And the sports books eat it. It's a cost of doing business. The state isn't looking for sports betting to be a significant source of revenue. Other states, when they talk about legalizing sports betting, are looking at sports betting to be a significant source of revenue. Hence, the concerns about -110. If the juice goes up, what happens? Bookies stay in business. Nobody reaches their revenue targets. And the legalizing gambling doesn't really work. So I've got my concerns about its viability, even though certainly right now it has more momentum than any time since you and I have been out here, Pauly, which is now working on the better part of 2 decades. But interesting question, but saying, oh, I can't wait till it's legalized, be careful what you wish for.
Yep. Throw Marino again. Orlando plays much better at home. I'll agree with that. OG Johnson. OG is just
Whoa, stop. Who said that?
Orlando's been playing well at home.
Orlando's playing better at home? I had Orlando in their first 30 home games, I had them at the single lowest home court edge in the NBA. I think they had 8 covers in their first 30 games. And I was giving them magic 1 for home court edge, where the standard is 2.5 or 3. They've played better at home of late.
All right.
But that's arguably the weakest home court in the NBA, in my opinion. Sorry, that one stood out. There we go.
Chime back in.
If
this is official. I just thought this was reported with Wichita State joining the American Athletic Conference. Big news, makes a lot of sense. Shockers tired of being disrespected. They need that. And, they got to stop with this 10 and 11 seed business, too. Now, certainly SMU had a great record, and they were a 6, but I think that'll change things big time.
Is that a done deal? Or is that
I thought they were expecting the invite. I don't know. That's the last thing I saw on it, but I'm going to go with if OG says it, okay. But that's terrific news. They need that, if that's true. Wichita needs to get out of the Valley and go to the American Athletic. If that's true. But they got to get out of there. And you see what's happened with VCU getting out of there, Butler moving out, Creighton moving out. Because that's what these mid-majors are saying. We got to get out of here. We're not getting any respect and can't get games anymore.
I don't disagree with that. It's just a shame. What a great conference, and to see that conference decimated, these rivals, these longtime rivals, are now
Creighton, Northern Iowa, Wichita,
and in conferences that don't make any sense. Yeah. But so be it. It is what it is. That's the nature of the modern college basketball world. What's up, guys? Here's Kirk. can we get a play of the day winner tomorrow? I need a good play. Yeah, our play of the day has been real dicey the last week. It has not been good. And it's, again, I'm going to say this as often as I need to say it. You know, this isn't a pick show. SportsBit is an information show. But we will give a pick every day. We're going to give a pick on something that we are interested in, something we've got money on. It's not blowing smoke out of our ass, but there's going to be times we're running good and there's going to be times that we're running bad. Unfortunately, now is one of the times we're running bad. And, of course, there's not that many choices. As we get into baseball, we'll have more opportunities. But this time of the year, you know, it's slim pickings, particularly this week. There's really slim pickings. And we're not picking hockey. So we'll do the best we can. And that's all, you know, we'll give you our best effort every day. And that's all I can promise you.
Yeah, hoops has been shaky. Football was tremendous. And here's another one. Mark Few, Coach of the Year. South Carolina, Frank Martin, disrespect. Guys, they went 37-1. That's the right choice. They were one possession away from going undefeated. They're in the Final Four. What are we doing here? Here's another one about, well, they beat Arizona and Trier didn't play. Who cares? Can't change the outcome. They're in the Final Four. They're a big favorite. There's a good chance they're playing Monday for the whole goddamn thing. Enjoy it. You may not see this again in college basketball. A school that holds 6,000 people in their gym could win the whole thing. You should be celebrating and enjoy it. What's all the negativity? It's a great program. It's about time they finally got there. And it's not a typical mid-major because they're loaded with pros and they're on ESPN all the time. And BMOC's right. They're impossible to score on in a half court.
So BMOC's wrong. He says quit betting teams in the NBA, bet numbers, and I couldn't disagree more. I mean, I'd not to say I couldn't disagree more, but you obviously need to be aware of numbers. But my whole NBA strategy is this team's valued in the wrong place, that team's valued in the wrong place. That's what works for me. And I will bet teams, you know, for a 5-game span or a 10-game span and say, now's the time to get involved with this squad. But that's my approach. Everyone has a different approach. And certainly if you ignore the number, it won't do you any good. So we have an agreement and a disagreement with BMOC.
Here's Tripp, best places in Vegas to watch the Final Four. Tripp, we make it to South Point. You know most of the spots. I would try Legacy Stadium at the Palazzo, Tripp. They'll blow you away. Check that out.
That is a nice venue.
You think Oregon has a shot on Saturday? Yeah, absolutely. Dana Altman's a hell of a coach. He's got a week to prepare. I'll take Altman over Roy Williams. Not to mention Dorsey's been a stud right there with Thornwell for MOP. And they were up 18 on Kansas in Kansas City.
Who's got the NBA talent, okay? You know, it's not like Oregon can't compete man for man talent-wise with North Carolina. Brooks will be the first player on either team drafted, I think. You know, Bell's going to get drafted. Dorsey's going to get drafted. So, you know, the Ducks have the requisite talent level. Though this is the game they're going to miss Boucher. You know,
no doubt.
This is the game they haven't. You know, they play. You know, Kansas doesn't have size, and Michigan's not a dominant team inside. Rhode Island's not a dominant team inside, and this is the game where they will miss their big man. And if he was in, I'd have some Oregon money line in my pocket.
Yeah, because good as dumb has the Heat 100-1 to win the East. You get out of the first round, you're live.
Dude, that's a great bet. That's a great bet. Look, the East is everybody's vulnerable in the East. Okay, there's no elite team in the East. There's only one elite team in the league, and that's Golden State.
Right.
All right. So 100-1 to come out of the East, and again, we've seen an 8 seed come out. The Knicks did it when they beat Miami back in the day. In a weird season where no one was great. Miami, man, that team again. I would love to see him in an 8 seed and get my chance to take the Heat over Cleveland in the first round, because what number are we going to see in the series price there? I mean, you give me 8-1, 10-1, I'm all in on a bet like that. They're live.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Spoelstra's doing an incredible job there. How about here's a couple of questions on the Cavs. The field. Cavs not to win the East, I don't know where you can bet that. The field. Well, let me just say this. I know at the South Point they have, the Cavs or the Warriors win it all. Yes, minus $5. The field's plus $4. I don't know about the Cavs not to win it, all that other business. I can just tell you that what they have.
It's Cavs and Warriors versus the field, and the field is plus $4?
Correct. And it's nothing but field. It's nothing but field, they said.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that makes a lot of sense.
But then no one's betting on Cleveland right now. You know, that's why.
Yep. What else we got?
Hang on. We got Thomarino Tamor. Guys, one betting angle has been very strong for me this year. Darn it. I can't. What is he saying there? About against below 500 teams at home, they bring it every night. Get this stupid thing out of there. Sorry. I apologize. I was really good. Now I can't read it.
Francis has got Oregon here at 30-1. What should he do? Let's say he's got $100 on that. What do you think he should do?
All right, you got Oregon at 30-1 in your pocket.
Yeah.
The Ducks if the Ducks beat North Carolina, they'll be favorites over South Carolina. They'll be relatively short dogs to Gonzaga. So you have a double hedge situation. When you talk about North Carolina on the money line, let's get a current number for that right now. What we're looking at there would be in the minus 220, minus 210 range if you shop around, which isn't too bad. So at 30-1, you can at least lock in the result for your original bet and make a small wager, say 220 to win. If you bet 100, you bet 220 to win 100 on North Carolina. That way, if Oregon loses, you at least got your original money back and you're free rolling for the rest of the way. Then if Oregon wins, you're in position to still cash the majority of that ticket. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it a more significant hedge off the get-go. You can say, all right, I want to make sure I lock in on $100 worth of profit right now and bet 440 to win 200 on North Carolina. But I would think one of those two options is perfectly reasonable in this spot, given it with a $100 wager on the Ducks. You're at the point now where you can start to hedge and lock something in. But of course, if you think Oregon's going to win, if you like the matchup for Oregon against North Carolina, you don't have to hedge and lock in a profit because you're taking that 30-1 and starting to give some of it away if the Ducks end up, winning again on Saturday.
Subculture media, no public interest in a South Carolina final. I'll agree with you there. Matthew Neal, will the public be laying $2 to $3 with the Cubs? Yeah, they did it all last year too. They'll continue to do it. Money line, run line, all that other business. They can't get enough of the Cubs' money out here.
Robinson Yepis, Mark Few ain't no John Wooden. I tell you what, I agree. I'm not a huge Few fan. This is the best defensive team that he's had in his 18 years at Gonzaga. Trip Tepper, Pauly's rants are the best. Yeah, I love it when Pauly starts getting smoke coming out of his ears. David Lee, what do you look for on second half line, specifically in basketball to spot values? What do you look for in second half numbers, Pauly? And I'm doing so much less second half and so much more in game now. Yeah.
What are you saying, NBA?
Yeah, he wants to know what you look for in second half bets.
I don't do much with that.
Yeah, I used to do much more with NBA second halves, and now I do much more with in game, and it's just a matter of runs. A lot of times you expect the game to come back to the number. So when a team was plus 6, and now you're getting plus 14 because they've had a rough run in the second quarter. Those are the type of bets that I tend to be interested in.
Doing the opposite of the first half works a lot too. I mean,
sure. The one thing you don't want to do, okay, when you talk about a surefire way to get crushed at halftime, is take a team that you were laying 6 with before the game and start laying, with the adjusted number, laying 12 and 14 and 16 with that team at the break. That's a surefire negative expectation proposition if you do that regularly, in my opinion.
Yeah. Scotty, thoughts of the Raptors winning the East? And I already have a dinner bet with Teddy. If they match up against the Celtics in the second round, you never know. That is a bad matchup for the Celtics. The Raptors have destroyed them on the boards. The only loss was when DeRozan didn't play. They get in the Eastern Conference Finals, anything can happen. Who knows? Maybe the Cavs run out of gas. Maybe the Wizards upset the Cavs. Who knows? But
who do I have the bet with?
I got to see Lowry come back too. I got to see Lowry too. So,
do I have a bet with you or with somebody else?
Yeah. We made a bet if they match up.
Okay. Yeah, I was me and you. I'm not worried. If somebody else after, oh shit.
Oh no,
I got to worry about it. With you, all right. Yeah, we'll go out to dinner one of these days. I'm on it. Pauly needs to give up room. This is from Scotty. Pauly needs to give up vroom, not a boom. Vroom, assuming it's not gas. What do you think? You ever do vroom instead of boom?
No, I don't. No. Guy watches us after the Le Batard show. Thank you. Dan does a good job.
Cool.
Two Gots.
Underbetters in Houston, Portland need not watch anymore. I'm telling you, I cashed that under bet in the Jettis Nuts over game. And
what happened?
what was it? There was that last. Give me a second, and I'm spacing on what it was. It was it was an epic over that absolutely died in the last 10 minutes. They scored nine points in the last 10 minutes of the game or something. It was against Gonzaga Xavier. Remember? Then they had 88 at halftime. It was about
the under,
125. Yeah, it was 124. Yeah. It was 124 with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, that overrated Gonzaga defense. Yeah, held them to 20 points in a second.
But the point is that a miracle under does cash once once every so often. You can lose for every Falcons loss. You get an under like that cashes, and it helps make up for it. Because
they're all over BMOC. They're all over. He thinks the Spurs are going to win it all. He didn't watch the game last night.
I'll take his action.
Oh, the guard play, Teddy, like we talked about on our Sports Bit show. Parker played, 24 minutes and didn't score? And Mills played 23 minutes and had 6 points? Curry and Thompson.
But it's the defense is what I'm worried about that duo as well. Matthew Neal, can't wait for the NBA playoffs. Can the Jazz make some noise? I don't think so. I don't think Utah's ready to make noise yet. I think they're ready to play a competitive series.
They can beat the Clippers with home court in the first round.
Maybe.
I would call that a successful season.
Oh, if they win a first round playoff series, for sure it is.
Right, looking at the 4 seed right now, yeah.
But I don't know that it's
the Spurs won't beat the Rockets if they're matched up against them. It's a horrible matchup for the Spurs.
All right, 2 minutes left, guys. 2 minutes right there. We're almost at the half-hour point. And again, I want to thank you very much for stopping by the chat. I want to encourage you to watch the show, SportsBit, every single day right here on SBR. I want to encourage you to visit YouWager.com. And I want to encourage you to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, whoever you want to turn on to SportsBit. We need the views over the spring and summer months. Thank you. Last couple of questions. Pauly, what do we got?
Cavs don't want the Bucks from Robinson.
Cavs don't want anybody.
That's my favorite quote from a coach so far. Last week, Tyronn Lue, not confident we can fix the defense. They gave up a 37-point quarter to the Bulls tonight. It's a disaster in Cleveland. Unbelievable. They brought on all these guys for offense, and they can't defend and get any stops.
No. Francis Dunn, Raps fucked up yesterday. Could have gained another game on them. Lost to Charlotte. I'm telling you, none of these teams. You're telling me Boston? Maybe Boston cares a little bit about the home court. I honestly don't think that any of these teams are motivated in a real way by the home court. Not a one of them.
Well, don't compare the 5 or the 6 seed to the 1.
Yeah,
it's a big deal for the Celtics. It should be at least. But there was a head scratcher the other day that they went out and lost at home to the Bucks. But I think the Bucks are playing well.
The Bucks can do that,
Where are you at with the Wizards? They're in the middle of this long road trip here, but that bench, Teddy, they could score.
Yeah,
they just ran out the Cavs on the road a while back.
Washington is live to make some noise. I mean, and to make some real noise, by going to the finals, make some noise. The top. Cleveland is beatable. Toronto, Washington, and Boston are all capable of doing it, and maybe Miami.
Why did Denver trade Jokic to the Blazers and help them put them in the playoffs? How bad was that trade?
It was a win-win for both teams. It's not like the Nuggets didn't get anything.
The guy had 31 points. They're gonna knock Denver out of the playoffs as a result.
I know that's the irony is that they ended up trading to the team that's going to beat them.
Yeah, and they control the tiebreaker, have a 1-game lead, and I haven't seen the score tonight. But anyways, they have a 92% chance because based on the schedule of getting the 8.
I'm not buying that 92% chance. I'm not. And I mean, Denver wanted to what did Nurkic versus Jokic, right? Or I'm terrible with the pronunciations, but
they traded Jokic, because Jokic played so well.
Who they getting that
42.
Plumlee, and Plumlee's played all right for them. But they needed a big to have a different. They needed him to just play defense and rebound. Not a guy who needs the ball in his hands. And I thought it's not like Denver's played badly since they made that deal. I don't think it was Portland has gotten the short-term benefit, no question, and they're playing their best ball of the year right now. But I don't think that the deal was bad for Denver, other than it made one of their competitors better.
That's what I'm saying, Mike Campbell. That's what I'm saying. don't trade him to the team you're fighting to get in the playoffs against.
But at the time they were. At the time, Portland was dead. Portland wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, come on.
It was Minnesota and New Orleans that people were worried about.
Difference, Teddy.
It was I'm telling you, it was Minnesota and New Orleans were the teams that everyone was worried about. Get the big man. Worry about the Plumlee's going to block the low post against those guys.
Minnesota. Minnesota was never in the playoff race.
They were absolutely right around the trading deadline and the All-Star break. Don't give me on. They were right around the. They were.
Now you can make me look up when the trade was done. Did you have any Twitter questions? Or are you saving them? What do you got? Did you lose them?
I gave up on them, dude. We're done. We're half an hour in. I apologize for not getting the Twitter questions. We had a ton of questions in the chat. And please, come in the chat. That's the best way to get your questions answered. We'll do our best to get to everything we can. Thank you so much for stopping by. And enjoy the Final Four. Have a great weekend. Be sure to watch Sportsman tomorrow. We'll be breaking down the second of the 2 Final Four games, Oregon versus North Carolina, and deep dive baseball futures. Yeah, we got some win total recommendations. Check it out tomorrow on SportsBit Betting Insights today. Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well.